So if a certain set of circumstances built up a particularly negative emotional response, then that athlete was coached through reframing those signals and those triggers that would result in the negative outcome, and they reframed them towards a more positive outcome. Is that the sort of thing that you're talking about with your unlearning?
Yes, absolutely. That is it.
Right.
It's like we are customized to think in a set way, doing things in a set way.
Right.
Be it professionally, as in the leadership style, or in personal life, or elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, exactly when you say reframe it, rework on it, that is what unlearning and learning again is about. It's like just trying different ways of doing it.
Is that a bit like a form of CBT, of cognitive behavioral therapy?
Yes, when it comes to how a particular style of thinking or a particular style life's approach is thought about, and then CBT is applied to it, in a similar way, unlearning, the process of unlearning is done, but it has a more practical approach. As in, you do it, you think of it, and you do it, rather than somebody teaching you how to do it.
Are there any, because I've, as I've just alluded to, I've played with this. I think I know it more as neuro-linguistic programming, where you reframe certain things in your mind using different words. I was never very good at it, and I always needed somebody to coach me through those things. Have you got any tips for people who might like to avoid feeling a certain way about a certain situation? Are there any tips to take that step back, analyse what's going on, and then move forwards with that new reframe in the mind?
Yes, so that happens with me as well every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
So when we start to think out of the box, we get a whole new world of ideas.
Right.
And I believe the best thing is when we discuss with people who we know are like-minded, and when we broaden our approach to whatever we are doing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, to quote an example, if it's like, oh, I have to, let me think of a good example though. So let's say, if I have to change an organizational culture, what would be your approach in doing that? What would you do? I mean, just as a first thought.
I would a guru in to talk
Sorry?
to the team. I'd probably get a guru in to talk to the team.
First thought, I'd line them all up against a wall and say, we're going to do it this way, and if you don't, then I'll pull the trigger.
That definitely requires a lot of unlearning.
Okay.
So there's a change mindset that you're talking about that comes into that, and managing transitions within a team.
Absolutely.
Is the important thing. Now, I went to a bit of training on that, where it was suggested that the idea is not to linger on the change, but linger on the end point. And to then say that actually the end point isn't dissimilar to what we got now. So when we talk about change, doesn't mean everything changes.
No.
Let's focus on what's going to stay the same and how we're going to improve some things and lose some things. Then all that matters is we hop over from one to the other.
Yeah, so basically I would say change is the only constant, right?
Okay. Yeah.
When, for example, as I said, if you want to change an organizational culture or style, the first thing you would do is understand people, understand their mindset, and then find out different ways of doing it. And when it comes to actually taking an action, it's like trying out different ways with something apart from the traditional approach, apart from how the things are done. Like if it's done on a paper and a pen, you can try it out in a digital way, and vice versa, I would say. So it's all about, we are made to think that this is the right thing and this is how it should be done. Whereas in some circumstances, in some ways, there is no right and wrong thing. It's just how we think and how we do it.
Mhm.
It's also similar to saying that, oh, I can't find a solution to this. We
Mhm.
can't get that deal. But actually you can. If you just change your perspective, if you change your approach,